Hi again. This is sort of part 2 of my reply to Neil Corbett 5057 and his question about my choice of guitars. So here's the story. In 1996 I was fronting a trio called Panhandle Conspiracy with my pals Pat and Dave, and we were becoming increasingly popular locally, and I decided that I need a matched pair of 6 and 12 string guitars. I chose a pair of Martins, a J1240 and a J40. The thin necks and shallow neck profiles caused me to fluff more intricate aspects of my style, and I couldn't understand why. And one night, when opening for the late great Isaac Guillory, he lent me his Martin D35S, which was a Martin 12 fret dreadnought with a 1 7/8 nut width, which instantly resolved all those issues for me. So of course I started searching for something similar. In fact, I searched unsuccessfully to find a 12 fret Martin for 3 years without success, until September 99. I was mooching around the music guitar shops in London, Denmark Street, Shaftesbury Avenue, and I wandered over to the east of London to Wapping, where there was a place called the Acoustic Centre. Marvellous. A Aladdin's cave of wonderful guitars hanging from the ceilings all over the place. Couldn't find what I was looking for, but the salesman came up to me and asked if he could help. And I told him that I was looking for a 12 fret dreadnought guitar. And he said, "Oh, come over to the desk, let me take some notes." And he wrote down copious notes and things, and I thought, well, this is all very well, but he's just going to wait until he gets something in stock and then he might give me a call. So I don't know, probably won't hear from him again. About 3 weeks later, he called me, asked me if I was still looking. Yes, I was. And he said, "Come up as early as you can on Saturday morning and bring everything that you could bear to part with." I always remember that. Took up 3 guitars, I think. And so what he had done is he had amassed a collection of 4 12 fret dreadnoughts. There was a Martin, I think it was an HD 28VS, 1 3/4 nut. There was a Bourgeois DS260, 1 23/32 nut, something like that. A Santa Cruz D12, and a Collings, not a name I was familiar with at the time, a Collings DS2H, which looked remarkably like this. This isn't the one. This is my second DS2H. More about that later. And we faffed about with it for some time, but it was obvious that it was the Collings that was the one for me. So thank you to Seamus Brady. Apparently I learned later that the Collings, that one, was one of 2 that were the first Collings to be shipped over to the UK. Pardon me. And Seamus kept the other one. Where am I? May 2005, getting on fine with the DS2H. That answered all my needs. In May 2005, I was listening to a lot of Jimmy Rogers things and looking at photographs from here, and he played an Auditorium, a O. Now, you know, he was before the age of dreadnoughts, but he kind of flat picked and things like that, and I was fascinated. And then I saw, advertised in a shop about 50 miles away, a Collings O, 12 fret, virtually identical neck to the dreadnought, the 25.5 scale, 1 13/16 nut width. So I had to go, and it had to come back with me. So that was a pretty quick sale for them, and I've been very, very happy with that guitar ever since. And so where are we? That was May 2005. Both of these guitars, similar in scale, fretboard side, tone woods, and of course the 28 type presentation. That's the herringbone, rosewood back and sides. Okay. In October 2010, I saw a Collings DS1, which is just, if you like, if this is a 28, it was the 18 version, so mahogany back and sides, and it was on eBay, and it was an auction, and no one bid for it apart from me, so I got it at the starting price, and it was still is in absolutely perfect condition. Lovely guitar, and it became my bluegrass guitar because it was just so loud, and I treasure it still. So that was my next purchase. In 2011, another Collings, this Collings, appeared on eBay, and I was starting to have trouble with my first one. I'd managed to break the neck and the headstock at one time, had that repaired, but after my cancer years, I found that all my senses had changed, and the old DS2H didn't sound right. I had Charlie Chandler in London work enormously on it for me, but I didn't realise how my hearing had changed. So the first one sadly went away. But in living cautiously until 2010, until I could get my state pension, my old age pension, I'd learned that I'd overestimated, and this is how I could fund these occasional purchases. So in 2011 I got my second DS2H, and I had to have some work on it. In November 2016, after seeing a friend of mine come to my club with a beautiful pre-war small body Gibson 12 fret that he'd rebuilt from splinters basically, I decided that I wanted something like that. So yes, I wanted something a bit different. I wanted something Gibson-y. And I went to a shop to try some Gibsons, none of which appealed in any way, shape or form, but I saw in the corner of my eye a little display of sunbursted, rather radical sunbursted guitars, asked about these, and they were Waterloos, made by Collings. So this is my blues guitar, my Waterloo WL12, maple back and sides, and as Dave, my luthier friend, told me when he did a little setup on it recently, he said this is a very expensively built guitar made to look and sound cheap. I think it's a pretty good description, but it's got that thing, you know, that Gibson-y thing. June 2009, after 2 throat cancer recovery years, came COVID, and during COVID I bought an E20P, which is a size O, 12 fret, wide neck, all that, and in 2020 I bought an Eastman E4000, which you've seen in other videos, which is a beautiful, beautiful guitar. But in October 23, I saw an advert on eBay, again, would you believe, for a Collings 00. Well, I had the Dreadnought, I had the 000, and it's beautiful. And this is my oldest Collings guitar now, because this was built in 1999 and sent to Australia apparently. So my little collection of Collings is pretty much complete. Or is it? Anyway, so that is that story. Now, I knew that all these guitars would be superb quality and suit my style and my hands. That's the important thing. So, of course, over the past 25 years, a few other acquisitions came and went. Some of them I made a profit on and some of them didn't. Through this quarter century, adding purchases, less the sales, indicates that on average, over that 25 years, I spent less than £1,000 a year, and sometimes nothing. Neville asks, have you ever longed for something different? Maybe an English luthier made guitar with different ideas and construction. Different ideas and construction, no, but in 1998, to celebrate my 50th birthday, my dear wife arranged to have this built by a luthier in Southampton called Vince Hockey. Haven't heard from him for a while, I hope he's okay. which is basically modelled on the Martin 0028. 1 7/8 neck. Had a little bit of trouble with it. We've had, I think this is the third bridge on it, and I think I've had the neck reprofiled at least 2 times, but it's working very well now. So there we are. So I know a number of people that come to my club that have Brook guitars, which are very, very highly thought of, and of course Alister Atkin is really making his mark very well. I haven't seen an Atkin enough to get to know it, and maybe in the future, who knows. But I'm 77 now, I'm not gigging so much, I have all this wonderful stuff around me, and I think I'm fairly replete. So I hope that answers Neil's question. Thank you again for it, and if you have been, thanks for watching. Bye.